It's Monday, so you already know what that means. It's time to cook up another NFL mock draft for the Kansas City Chiefs, and it'll be version 2 on this channel. And today, we're going to be talking about some offensive linemen, and not just one. So with that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. It's time to get ourselves ready for another edition of Mock Draft Monday for the Kansas City Chiefs. But before we do dive too far ahead into that, as I teased yesterday, today I do have an announcement, and it will be that I will be giving away the Kansas City Chiefs draft hat this year. Now, what are some things you need to do to get entered into that giveaway? Well, first things first, you need to like this video. And also, comment Chiefs Kingdom on this video. And last, but certainly not least, but you definitely need to do it, is subscribe to this channel. If you do all three of those things, you will be entered into the giveaway. And also, for the Kingdom status members, you are already put into this giveaway right away. If you're a member, that's just how it works. But also, if you're a member and want an additional entry, do those rules and you will have 2 entries, and that'll be one up against everyone else. And if you guys would like to have that kind of advantage, hey, join the Kingdom status member. Everyone is welcome. It'll keep you up to date on all of my earliest and latest content, as well as give you an edge on some giveaways. And when we start getting those members live chats going, you will be more involved in those. So those are just some cool advantages if you are a Kingdom status member. But anyone is more than welcome to enter this giveaway. Just follow the rules. They'll be listed on the screen, and they'll be listed in the bio for anyone who may need to know what to do to enter the giveaway. Now, with that, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to why we are here. And let's kind of recap on how I addressed my last week's mock draft Monday. And I started off round 1 with the wide receiver. Then I went offensive line, and then I went cornerback. Today, I'm attacking it completely different. Like I mentioned, the Kansas City Chiefs may not seem like they have so many holes, but there is definitely areas they need to plug in. That way they can three-peat and be that team to be destined to do something that has never happened in the NFL. So let's start round 1 off. And we're not going to address the wide receiver position in round 1. What we're going to do, we're going to address the O-line, and we're going to hopefully attack the left tackle position, and I'm going to have the Kansas City Chiefs select Amarius Mims. Now, why do I say hopefully? Because if you know Amarius Mims' game, he has strictly played right tackle at Georgia his whole career. Now, there's been reports, though, when he did practice, he did a 60-40 split in practice with playing right tackle and left tackle. So there can be some experience there as well. But when you look into the later rounds of round 1, where there would be an Amarius Mims or a Tyler Guyton, these guys have strictly played the right tackle position. And that's not what the Kansas City Chiefs are looking for. They are looking for their future left tackle, whether it be Wanya Morris, whether they bring in another veteran option, or whether they draft a guy. Coach Reed mentioned it today. Wanya Morris was impressive last year, but there's going to be competition at the position. And if you look at the roster right now, there's not competition at that roster spot. So the Chiefs will be bringing in someone, and I believe they may do it in round 1. And I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom, when they zone in, when they hope the Kansas City Chiefs may trade up, which is very rare, but if they do trade up in round 1, I think it will solely be for a left tackle that they feel can solidify that pass protection. Patrick Mahomes' blind side for the better half of 10 years or more. That's what they really want. They're not going to trade up for a wide receiver in round 1. I would be shocked. Not saying it's rare, but I think it's very slim. If they're making a trade up, they're going to go for a left tackle. And a guy I'd like to look out for is Amarius Mims. As I mentioned, can he make the transition from right tackle to left tackle? That's the biggest question mark. But a guy like him, his stature, he's huge. He is big beyond big, and he is very athletic as well. So if the Chiefs do go that direction, they really would believe that Amarius Mims can play that left tackle spot. Now let's go to round number 2. And we're going to do something that Brett Veach has done the past 2 years in round number 2 when he selected Sky Moore and when he selected Rashee Rice. We're going to select another wide receiver in round number 2. And if you saw my video yesterday, it is a teaser to what I'm about to say today. But I really love wide receiver out of Washington, Jalen Polk. I feel like he would be the perfect fit for this offense. And once Rashee Rice comes back from suspension, you would have a dynamic trio. You would have Hollywood Brown, the speed demon. You would have Rashee Rice, the yak killer. And then you would have Jalen Polk. Just toss it up to him. The dude will make a play. And also, as I kind of mentioned in yesterday's video as well, I really love Rome Odunze's play. But Jalen Polk, he seemed like the one to shine on me in highlights and in games for Washington. That Washington Huskies offense was just absurd. It was nuts. Everyone was eating, whether you mentioned Odunze, Polk, or even McMillan as well. They had playmakers, and these guys will do great at the next level. But something about Polk makes me feel like he is going to be one of those top 15, top 10 wide receivers in the league next year if he is put in that right offense. And I believe Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is that right offense. I would really be ecstatic if the Kansas City Chiefs draft Jalen Polk. But also, as I mentioned yesterday, there's like 1,000 wide receivers in this draft. So the Kansas City Chiefs really can't do no wrong. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of guy piques their interest. But as I mentioned, Brett Veach, he has an eye for guys in round number 2. Whether you may like it or not, that is when his sniff test comes alive. And also, if he feels like he can't get his guy, he will trade up. Sky Moore, he traded up for a round 2. Rashee Rice, he traded up for a round 2. If a guy like Jalen Polk piques his interest, he may have the trade up, and we know Brett Veach is not afraid to do that. Now, let's go on to round number 3. And I've been trying to convince you guys for the better half of maybe 2-3 weeks that the biggest needs for the Kansas City Chiefs is offensive line, wide receiver, defensive tackle, cornerback, interchangeable, however you view it. And a lot of Chiefs Kingdom seems to be in agreement. But the more research I do and looking into the future for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think there's a bigger need than defensive line and cornerback. And we're going to stick on that offensive line. Because going into next year at this time, the Kansas City Chiefs will have huge free agents. It may be Creed Humphrey. It may be Trey Smith. And I really believe with how well Creed Humphrey's played that he is going to get an extension. And even with Trey Smith, he deserves an extension as well. But we've seen the guards. They have been getting paid. And I do not know if Brett Veach is comfortable paying Trey Smith hundreds of millions of dollars. He may be comfortable doing that with Creed Humphrey, but Trey Smith, I'm not sold on yet. And also, Joe Thuney is getting older as well. He is an elite playmaker, but also coming off an injury and another year older. The Chiefs need to invest in the interior because that is their strength. And the depth has disappeared now with Nick Allegretti signing with the Washington Commanders. So, let's draft someone who can play that role of Nick Allegretti his rookie year, and let's look no further away and stay in the, not same state, but because Missouri, Kansas, but we're going to focus on the Kansas Jayhawks, and we're going to focus on left tackle, guard, a possible guy who could play center, and Dominic Puny. This guy will literally be your Nick Allegretti in his rookie year to where if anything happens, he can plug and fill and play any spot on the line. I feel like he can play like 5 positions on that line. And that would be a major steal for the Kansas City Chiefs in the 3rd round. And then when you look into the future, let's say the Kansas City Chiefs don't re-sign Trey Smith, or Joe Thuney ends up moving somewhere else or is no longer a Kansas City Chief. You gotta anticipate those kind of things. You already prepared yourself for this kind of situation. And that's what Brett Veach does time in and time out. We always go into the draft and we think we know what's best for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you watch them draft like a Brian Cook or a Chamari Connors. And you're like, I didn't have that on my radar. But then you fast forward and you realize he drafted Brian Cook to replace Juan Thornhill. He probably drafted Chamari Connors to replace L'Jarius Need. Not at the same position, but athleticism-wise as well. Best believe Brett Veach is looking at this line way further than left tackle. He sees that guard and center can be an area need in the next 2 to 3 years, and we may need to address it in this draft. And that's why that may be one of my top 3 needs, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Kansas City Chiefs draft a guard early on, and it may shock Chiefs Kingdom, but hey, that's why I'm here. I'm here to get us ready for it. With that, Chiefs Kingdom, that is my 3-round mock draft for the Kansas City Chiefs. Version 2. We went offensive line heavy in the first 3 rounds. And then, of course, we had to get that sexy position. We had to get the wide receivers. Let me know how I did in the comments down below. With that, I will be checking out. But like I mentioned to kick off this video, there is a giveaway. We are giving away the draft hat. All you have to do, like this video, subscribe, and comment Chiefs Kingdom on this video, and you are entered in the giveaway. Anyone who is already in the Kingdom status members, you're already in. If you want to get a head advantage of everyone else, do the rules down below, and you will get one up on everyone. And if you want to be a Kingdom status member, link is in the bio. And if you don't want to go that far, I completely understand. Trust me, I understand. But if you do love my content, please do subscribe, and also hit that big like, hit that big thumbs up. With that, I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.